Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Eagle kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Ipag the Blue Eagle, galing hiting at tigil.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Chola Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
What's poppin', and welcome to Popcorn with Cholo Sadiaran, your stop for all things pop, where we talk about all things pop culture from here in the Philippines to the rest of the globe. And of course, we're still at home because this lockdown is taking forever here in our country. Galingan nyo naman, please. But today is another special episode because we have a special guest, an extra special guest right here with us. One of my good friends, actually, hindi lang siya artist that I work with. I consider her a good friend, and I'm super excited to have her on here because I love her music and I want you guys to like discover her and know more about her. Let's welcome singer-songwriter Issa Rodriguez. Hello, Issa.
Hello! Oh my gosh, it was so exciting to see you in that element.
Wow. Di mo, iba yung vibe pag nagmi-meeting tayo, ganun.
Oo. Very serious pag meeting, ganun.
Yes, but kamusta ka, Isa? I mean, we talk, but like
Right.
on the record, how are you? How's the pandemic? You know, the usual question that every time you're on a radio show or on a TV show, online show, oh, so what have you been up to?
Oh my gosh, that question has been something that I always dread because a lot of people expect you to answer like, "Oh, I learned how to cook," or "I
Yeah.
learned how to do this and that," but I didn't really do anything. Like, I mean, I didn't learn a new skill. If anything, the first few months of the lockdown, I just really was trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the middle of it, I kind of channeled all that energy and all the emotions into songwriting. So yeah, I've been writing a lot. I've been working on my music a lot.
And there's
Yeah.
some really good stuff coming from there, I must
Yes.
say. I mean, marami na nakakarinig. I mean, I guess before anything else, I mean, before we get into your actual music, let's let people know you a bit more. I mean, how long have you been doing this? Since you were grade 4? Tama
Grade
ba?
4. Yeah, I started writing when I was in grade 4. It was kind of weird because I started writing in grade 4 and then I figured that I could carry a tune in first year high school. And then I started doing gigs first year college. So super
Yeah.
tagal ng gaps in between. Yeah.
Pero it's like a nice process na you were able to like get all these skills, and then now you're here, you're
Yeah.
in the industry, you're trying to make it with your really good songs. I mean, I hear a lot, I mean, about Isa Rodriguez in high school writing for this musical na
Yeah.
people are really talking about even until now. Like every time I talk with
Oh.
mga Saint Paul friends, they're like, "Oh, yeah, she wrote a song or she wrote the musical. What was that musical ba? Na parang
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, this musical is like so good. She wrote this song with I forget the title, but
It's
somebody just told me about it recently. Hello to Janine Cevalia.
yeah. I was gonna ask if it's her. Pero yeah,
Ito
it's
mapasa akin.
ay, oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so the musical was It's Not You, It's Me. It's basically about a lot of different couples going through a lot of different stages of their relationships. And I was one of the writers and the musical director. So I wrote most of the songs. Siguro mga 80-90% of the songs in the musical. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, do you ever, I mean, at this point, do you ever consider like making a comeback for that kind of like thing, or like reviving that musical into like your own music in a sense, concept album, mga ganyan?
Oh my gosh. It would be interesting kasi when I listen to the songs that I wrote in high school, syempre mayroong cringy moments na alam mo yun, parang why did I write that way or why did I use this word or that melody. So I guess it's a good thing that you kind of see that you improved. Pero at the same time, it's nice to look back then. So maybe sometime in the future, I could probably pluck out a couple of the songs I did in high school.
Yeah.
Yun.
And well, parang, I mean, syempre, I want to know. I mean, I kind of know the answer because, I've been accompanying you for a while now. I mean, pero what made you like actually want to pursue this as a full-time thing? I mean, syempre, coming from grade school and you know that you've done well in high school na, this is a track or a field that you really want to pursue
Right.
full-time. Because like, college, yun na yung parang, oh, what do you want to do? And I'm like,
Right.
for me, I was like, I don't know. I just like media. So whatever comes my way. But for you, like, what was that thing that really drove you to this, like to where you are now?
I think it was a lot of different factors really. Pero siguro one big thing would be seeing my dad in the music industry also because my dad used to be in a show band. So he would be out of the country often. Tapos he also had experiences in theater like here in our place. They used to hold plays here or musicals here. So I would see my dad practicing at home and stuff like that. But I didn't really know that I had the talent or the skill. Um yeah, I didn't know that I had the skill for it. But it was weird in a sense na grade school pa lang ako, I knew that I wanted to be in the music industry. Even
Yeah.
when I didn't know that I could do it. So it was,
Wow.
I don't know how that was possible, but I remember drawing it in one of my textbooks. Parang, it was a homework na draw yourself in 20 years or something like that. And I drew myself in a recording studio. And during that time, I didn't really know how to sing. I mean, I could carry a tune, but I didn't know that I could sing. So yun, parang maaga siyang dumating. I just don't know how.
And now the dream is here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not easy. A lot of people think that, oh, okay, you're just gonna sing a song, be in a label, and then you've made it. But, it's really, can we talk more about that? Na parang, syempre, as a young musician, also doing this full time. I mean, how is that for you? I mean, before, di ba you started, I mean, after you graduated, you were also doing another day job, but now that
Yeah.
you're transitioning more into like full-time professional musician and also like a songwriter and mga jingles din, 'di ba? Mga ganyan.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
So how do you transition towards that? And I guess parang how is that whole journey so far?
Yeah, I think it was frustrating at first because a lot of people think that being a musician is easy or being a singer or a songwriter is easy. Like, di ba mayroon pa nga minsan yung mga kumakalat sa internet, nakakanta ka lang naman eh. Di ba may mga ganong
Yeah,
issues
yeah.
before? It takes a lot eh. Not just skill. Like it's not just you singing and hindi parang nagkaraoke ka lang na for fun. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of energy and a lot of vulnerability, if I may say. Like you really have to bear yourself and allow yourself to be seen by everyone. And by seen, I mean literally even to the smallest details. Like pati flaws mo, like even if they don't know you, that you have to be, I guess, strong or brave enough to handle that. And siguro before I jumped into doing this full time, there was a lot of hesitation. Like, syempre, stability, di ba? It's not easy to make a career out of it kasi hindi siya parang day job na alam mo na at this date may matatanggap ako. Diba? So there are months na wala talaga. Lalo na ngayong pandemic, diba? Parang we really don't know when gigs are gonna come. We
Yeah.
don't know when events are gonna come. So,
I mean, the answer to that is we just have to wait for the vaccine. Joke.
yeah. um, well, we
Peace
have to
out.
make
Goodbye.
do.
That's the episode.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, kasi wala talaga. We don't control this eh. Like we
Mm-hmm.
can't control it. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be a musician, especially in a world or in the society that doesn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun? Like I mean, I would like to say that it has progressed. That it's better now than it used to be. But there are still some people, and I don't blame them, but there are still some people who don't see it as an actual profession.
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know, maybe this time, like our generation, we kind of have to put more effort into making them realize that hey, this is real. We're actually, this is work, like as
Yeah.
much as we enjoy it, this is also work. And yeah, so there's a lot of fear coming into it. Not just financially, but yun nga, parang being seen by the whole world. Well, syempre, paunti-unti, pero being
I mean,
seen
you
by a lot
have
of people.
attracted some people from the other side of the world. Let's put it out there
Yeah.
and let's claim it, right?
Yes. Claim it. Yes.
Pero parang yun nga, with that in mind, syempre iba rin yung ano, 'di ba? Parang I wanna talk about this more na being an artist is different from being a singer, or being a musician is being different from being like, I mean, kasi in this, especially in the Philippines, na alam mo yun, parang anyone na pwede mo nang ilagay dyan at papakantahin mo lang sila, basta marunong sila kumanta. Parang
Right.
iba rin yun sa pinagdadaanan mo, right? Na parang, for you as a singer-songwriter,
Mm-hmm.
it's really something different na you bear your real soul because
Yeah.
you write about your experiences, as compared to like some of the people who just like, hey, sing this cover or sing this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being an interpreter, for
Mm-hmm.
sure, but there's still that difference then. So I
Right.
mean, how is that going for you on that front of things? So parang, you know now that more and more people are like, oh, I'm a singer now, or I'm a musician now, like how do you like go through that, like those waters na parang to stand out, to be able to stand out, especially in this, it's oversaturated Spotify world where anyone can
Yeah.
literally upload a song to Spotify.
Right. I remember I always go back to this moment. I remember talking to one of my mentors in Elements songwriting camp, si Sir Quest. Um I asked him one time parang I get scared to put out my music sometimes because it might be too personal.
Yeah.
Like it might be like for example, a lot of people know naman about my faith, and I have a really strong connection with my faith. So some of my songs would be about that, like about God and about my relationship with God. So I was asking him like, can I sing that during gigs? I mean, can I perform these kinds of songs during gigs? And what he answered was, as long as it's true to you, and as
Yeah.
long as it's genuine, people will feel it. Ayun. So, Caesar Quest, what he told me was that, um, as long as it's genuine, as long as it's true to you, people are gonna feel what you feel. And it could be a different interpretation, pero nandun yung puso, so okay na yun. Parang ganon. So, I guess I always go back to that when it comes to writing my own music and putting it out there. Because iba pa rin yung may puso. Yun, parang ano lang, it's just that na I really have to bare my soul in order to be noticed in a way na to kind of set my foundation, like why I want to do it. Like, is it because I want people to notice me? Is it because I want fame? Diba? Parang kasi if I'm after fame, then I really wouldn't be satisfied.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just go back to my why, and that's just to speak truth. It sounds so cliche, but pero yun eh, parang I just really want to share what I know, what I believe in, and hope that, kahit isang tao makarelate doon. And so if I reach that one person, then I've done my part. So regardless kung konti lang yung numbers ko, syempre business side of it, we would want numbers, right?
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't hurt as much because my main reason is to be out there. Yun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yun nga eh. At least you have that because a lot of people are just like after it or doing this not because they have a purpose or they have a message to say, but they just want to do it, right? And
Right.
that's something that's really unique and special about a lot of artists na, that's what I commend you guys about na, you're working on something because you're passionate about it and because you're actually um you can actually do it. I mean, not a lot of people can do what you do. And yun nga, parang one of the things I really admire about your songs is like you can really feel the emotions and you can really put yourself, put myself as a listener into your shoes na parang, it's not all songwriters can even do that even if they write songs. Kasi, di ba, parang a lot of songwriters are just like writing about other stuff that aren't really as emotional or can really connect. Maybe I'm your target audience. So, but
Maybe.
yan nga eh, parang you have songs like Down the Aisle, for example. That's one of Issa's first releases under Mustard Music. Let's plug that. Um, but that was like, wow, this girl. I was like, kasi that song is about imagining yourself down the aisle, basically, with the someone who doesn't really exist yet and like the journey and parang all the time every time Isa has a new song or I hear like mga songs like Fragile or Her which hasn't been released yet. Syempre ako na yung nag-plug sa lahat ng mga magandang kanta ni Isa. But even yung mga other songs na even before you got signed to a label, those songs are also really good. But like I always ask Isa, sino ba nanakit sa'yo? Di ba? Parang, how do you channel those truths from other people or those mga bagay na nanggagaling sa buhay mo to like put it into like such poetic ways? I mean, ako kasi, I just started trying to write songs for like fun or like as a requirement more than
Mhm.
anything. But, I was like, how do you even like do this? It's not something na easily can get out of the air maybe. I mean, I guess if you're someone like you or like Taylor Swift who can just write a song in like what 5 minutes or something. I mean, how can you explain that to aspiring songwriters, especially, or those who are curious about your work?
Mhm. I I started writing poetry really early.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess it's part of me being an introvert. Like
Yeah.
as an introvert, it was my way of um processing my emotions. Like I wasn't really good with words, with public speaking, or kahit nga conversations with friends eh. Minsan nahihirapan pa ako to express myself. So,
I'm sorry for taking so much of your energy right now.
no, it's fine. But I'm gonna sleep after naman. So, pero yun, ano, I think it's that. Like my personality talaga, I work better when I write.
Yeah.
So, like even the simplest things like calendars, I still use actual journals or planners for for that. So siguro yon yung isang malaking factor, but also kind of just being open to a lot of different sources,
Yeah.
like listening to a lot of different music, even in the ones that I don't typically would listen to. um and also paano ba, revision is key.
Yeah.
Revision is key talaga. Like there are songs na when I look at the first drafts, parang yeah, okay. Like buti na lang na-revise ko yan. So yeah, when it comes to songwriting or putting my emotions into songs, um I usually try to look at all angles.
Yeah.
Like for example, Down the Aisle. I was single when I wrote that. And at
E-
that time,
you were.
well, but yeah, at that time, parang all of my friends would go to me for advice na parang about their love lives. Parang, bakit ako? Eh, wala akong experience. So, I was kind of looking at that aspect na parang, I've gone through so much and I've never been in a relationship. So,
Yeah.
yung factor na yon, like, being someone single, imagining what it would be like to be married, being someone in a relationship, imagining their future together. So parang I try to look at every angle of the story,
Yeah.
and then I put it into the song so that if you listen to it, like you, Cholo, you would still somehow relate to it kahit na hindi mo napagdaanan yung pinagdaanan ko. Because one of those angles would be the angle that you're
Yeah.
seeing it. Yeah.
So how do you make it so universal na parang, anyone can literally like listen to it and be like, "Oh, that's me." Because, some songs can be that na very personal to you but also very universal to everyone else who listens. Na parang but other songs, I guess, or other songwriters don't really have that universality, and it's very niche na parang alam mo
Mm-hmm.
yun, it's very targeted to specific people only, not na parang if I listen to this song then I wouldn't really be able to relate to it. But for example, your music nga na parang how do you like remove yourself but also keep yourself there? I mean, it's like a
Right.
songwriting ano na pala, songwriting seminar. Thanks for being here.
Well, I do love talking about songwriting, so this is fine. Um, I guess it boils down to the intention of the songwriter. Like, if my intention is to relate to people,
Yeah.
then I would have a different songwriting process as compared to I just really want my artistry to show and just target this specific group. Then I feel like my songwriting would change a lot. So when it comes to reaching everyone, as cliche as it may sound, love is a universal language. Like it really is. So regardless if it's a breakup song or a wedding song or even like a song about dreams, 'di ba? Or life. Kapag kapag dun nakasentro yung kanta mo, makaka-relate yung mga tao eh.
Yeah.
And people are gonna see it the way that they feel at that certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Maybe I should do that in my next song. Joke. Pero
Yes.
I guess since we're talking about your songs, let's talk about your newest single, which is called Wag. I mean, this is very different coming
Mm-hmm.
from, you're really known for your ballads, but, one of your biggest hits also is Fragile, which is parang different then from what you usually put
Right.
out. Kasi parang ako, whenever I associate you with Down the Aisle or yung mga other songs, I mean, syempre iba-iba rin yung mga luma mong, yung mga luma mong releases. But, that's how versatile I feel like you are, and that's how great and this new single is called Wag, and it's another flavor coming from Issa Rodriguez na um it's kind of hip hoppy in a sense, right? And
Yeah.
the message is just so strong, and I feel like a lot of people can really relate to it. Like what I mean, of course, I know what it's about, but for our dear listeners who have not listened to the song yet, it's really good. You should go listen to it. But like, can you talk more about that new single of yours and how it came about?
Yeah. I wrote it early this year before this whole thing happened.
Ah,
Yeah.
talaga? Parang I
Yeah, I
haven't.
wrote it
Oh
early
yeah,
this year.
I have heard it early on.
Yeah, parang it was actually a long process. Parang I was already writing the chorus. Ay, no, no, no. The verse. I was writing the first verse na. Tapos hindi ko siya matapos-tapos. Tapos I would jump into writing other songs and then go back to it and I couldn't finish it. Until one time, I was scrolling through Twitter.
Yeah,
Tapos ang daming hate. I mean, it wasn't even um it wasn't even the hate na universal. Alam mo yun, na like global issue or something like that.
yeah,
It was literally about random people. Like someone posting a selfie and then they would say stuff na parang gandang-ganda sa sarili or
yeah,
alam mo yun, like parang lahat meron silang comment.
yeah,
And I was just really triggered that night na why do people have to why do they have to say all those mean things that wouldn't help? 'Di ba? Parang if it's constructive then go do it. But does it really have to be a mean comment
yeah,
posted in public for all the world to see? Like I didn't really understand it. So yeah, I was writing the song and I wanted it to be about that. So the song actually, if you listen to the lyrics, the first verse is more for the people who receive mean comments,
yeah,
for the people who receive hate, and the second verse is for the people who give hate.
yeah,
Diba? Parang who forget that there are people behind these screens, diba? So yeah, I just really wanted it to be a reminder, parang to choose to be kind,
yeah.
al-
We
and
really need that.
also yeah, and also to not let other people's opinions um drag you down. Like if you know that you're doing something good, or if you know that what you're doing is not hurting anyone else, then gawin mo pa rin. Yun.
Yeah, I mean, ang ganda ng duality na yun for me, na parang, as you were talking about universality, this is pretty universal na, it's like, it hits two birds with one stone, and you
Mm-hmm.
can just relate it to so many things. Is there like an aspect of this na, okay, boomer, may ganung vibe din kasi na parang, you know, we're trying to live our lives as young people, trying to make a difference or trying to forge our path into the world, and yet
Mm-hmm.
older generations are like, you don't know how the world works, mga ganung bagay. Or is it
Right.
just really like my point of view that gets that joke?
Well, I think meron pa rin ganon. Meron pa rin sigurong ganon. But I don't think it's generation to generation. Like I feel like it's so widespread now. And it's
Yeah,
it's so it's wrong, but it's accepted by society.
yeah,
Like I feel like people have taken it out of proportion na I am entitled to my own opinion.
yeah,
We are, but do we have to say it out loud? I mean,
yeah,
do we have to tell each other na parang, hey, when it boils down to preferences, di ba? Parang, if I listen to this kind of music and you don't like it, I'm not gonna force you to like it.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna force you to like the artists that I listen to, diba? The same way with our craft. Like, if someone wants to post a selfie, then let her post a selfie. If someone wants to post their art and they're just starting and, parang ewan ko, hindi pa siya blended or whatever. 'Di ba? Like, just let them do it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we all start somewhere. So,
Exactly. And parang it's so weird to me how, where does this hatred come from? I mean, obviously, we always say that it comes from you don't really hate that person, but there's something about yourself that you're insecure
yeah.
about that you put it out to other people. And it's just, ang weird na ng naging society na, it's very prevalent right now,
Yes.
especially. But ayun, parang it's just really nice to have that kind of anthem for that. Pero ito, pertaining to that, especially right now, syempre, 'di ba, music industry, we're talking about music, and one of the big issues is, Jason Dacal going on a rampage, rampage talaga, on a rant on Twitter about, being an artist and not being respected and having these artista kids essentially just get the silver plate
Right.
and just like enjoy that. I want to ask you how you feel about that, especially regarding this song, diba?
Yeah. Well, when I first read the thread, um, I related to it agad. Because I've been there. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm still there. Na, 'di ba? Like, it's not easy. It's not an overnight thing. Well, some people get to do that. Na parang madidiscover sila agad, and they boom agad. And that's great. But it really happens na um you go to gigs na isa dalawang tao lang yung makikinig sa'yo, and you put out music that no one really pays attention to.
yeah,
um 'Di ba, parang it's kumbaga, I get that it's unfair, but I don't agree with the hate towards Michael.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I agree from where he stands. Like, I agree with what he's going through, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with the hate towards Michael, because hindi naman natin alam kung ano yung pinagdaanan niya to get his music out there. What if
Yeah,
matagal na rin pala niyang gusto maglabas ng music?
yeah,
Or what if meron din siyang hesitation dahil nga sa pangalan niya? Alam mo yun?
yeah.
Kasi hindi naman niya pinili yung last name niya eh.
And he
'Di ba?
literally
Like,
looks like his dad, so
yeah.
even harder. I feel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's in his blood. I mean,
Yeah,
he I'm pretty sure he didn't want to be known just because of his last name.
yeah,
And I feel like that could be a wound also. Like, that could be a pain point for him also, na he wants to make his own name, his own sound, but people are gonna keep associating him with his dad,
yeah,
right? So, ako, honestly, I I agree. I agree with both eh. Alam mo
yeah.
yun, parang nakikita ko yung point nung pareho. What I really don't get is how the fans are reacting.
Oh yeah, that was kind of uncalled for na at that point. But kasi it was just like there. I feel like for me on my end, it was
Mm-hmm.
just really the wrong platform to bring it up in. I mean, it's nice to let the world know that this is a thing because it is, and we have a lot of issues in the music industry for sure. Na
Yeah.
some people do get the advantage, but I feel like it was kind of wrong for Twitter to be the platform because you know how it
Right.
can, as you were saying, it can just spread the hate even further, and that was what it did more than like
Mm-hmm.
have the issue be spoken about in a more, I don't know, decent way or in a
Yeah.
more like productive way and
Yeah.
progressive way. It just became like a hate a hate tank to just like, hey, okay, Jason's wrong or Michael's wrong, ano ba yan,
Yeah.
ganyan. And I mean, tama naman kasi talaga. And I hope that the music industry really finds like a way to like solve it. I mean, we're here. That's why we're here to like try to change things. Pero yun nga,
Right.
with what you were saying, I also agree na parang with the celebrity kids, they also have their own struggle. I think that's what
Yeah, for sure.
Jason didn't get to like take into consideration na as what you were saying na Michael has you don't know what Michael went through or whoever artista kid that is. And I've worked with several
Mm-hmm.
children of personalities, and they also have that their own struggle of like putting parang trying to veer away from the spotlight of their or the shadow of their parents, right?
Yeah.
And that's a different thing altogether because that might also be your downfall as a real musician na parang 'di ba parang okay, your dad's whoever or your mom's whoever, you're never gonna be
Right.
as good as that person or you're never gonna reach that level or they're gonna look down on you just because you're the
Yeah.
kid, 'di ba? So parang that's another aspect that I hope that's addressed into this because
Yeah.
it's
For
another
sure.
big issue din naman na ang dami talagang magaling na celebrity kids naman eh. I mean,
Mm.
it's not just because they're celebrity kids, but they also have real talent and they have passion and they like what they're doing. But
Nakakahon kasi sila eh. I
yun
mean,
na nga,
they're labeled agad. And
yeah,
most of them are really good at what they do.
yeah,
Diba? But they're just not given the chance. And I feel like, kasi, okay, honestly, sa industry naman talaga, like, even if it's not the music industry, parang may kanya-kanyang timing yan eh.
yeah,
Diba? Like, you could be at it for 15 years and just get your break right when you're about to quit.
yeah,
Or you
yeah,
can have it overnight. But it's not in our control. Like
yeah.
if you want to stop, then you stop. If you want to keep going, then you keep going. But I think we could strive for success without
Pulling
um
other people down.
without pulling other people down and
Yeah,
without discounting their success. Like we can
exactly.
all be successful at the same time and that would be even better.
We're all in this together, right? That's what
Yes.
Troy Bolton
It's
said.
so
Joke.
musical.
Totoo yan. Kasi parang, why don't we just like help each other out and like
Right.
address these issues as peers and as friends and as fellow, I mean, colleagues, instead of
Mm.
like, dragging people on Twitter because,
Right.
it's just like not the avenue, I feel. And I mean, see, Jason has already apologized saying that, he stands by what he said and,
Yeah.
but, yun nga, he's sorry that he had to do it that way, which is good to
Mm.
know that. But, the damage has already been done in a sense. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's damage to Michael Pacquiao or whoever artista kid is out there also vying for their own success, or even Jason himself na
Yeah, that's true.
it will also hurt his career in a sense, and that's kind of sad because he's
Yes.
actually also really talented and he has good songs.
Yeah.
So
And I feel
well,
like the fans din kasi kind of took it out of proportion also. Like, honestly, like I really don't get the cancel culture. I
yeah,
mean,
same,
si Jason could have like he admitted that it wasn't the right platform or something like that. Then that's good. Then I hope that he can still continue his career. Alam mo yun, that he can still put out his music and people would still support him and not cancel him just because of that one situation. And the
yeah,
same way with Michael Pacquiao, diba? If he continues to put out his music, then I hope that people still listen to him.
yeah,
Diba? Kasi we can all work at it on our own careers all at the same
yeah.
time. Yeah,
Pero yun, I hope it's really a learning lesson to him because it's not gonna be easy to get out of that conversation, especially
for sure.
mainit siya sa buong industriya and even beyond the industry for the last 2 weeks, I would say. And even the biggest artists spoke about it and
Yeah,
saw it on Twitter. So it's not gonna be an easy path for anyone, but I hope it opens the eyes of many people also about the bigger issues. And it's bigger than all of us talking
yeah,
about
for
it.
sure.
But we have bigger issues to fry and bigger fish to fry as well in this country.
Uh-huh.
So, sana naman pagkatapos itong lahat, we get to address that in some way, in some form. And
Yeah.
support everyone. Kahit di
Mm-hmm.
sila magaling, gagaling din sila. I mean, it's a learning lesson.
Yeah.
It's a parang that's what cancel culture is. Parang ang pangit about cancel culture na you just canceled
Yeah.
after one time and
And some of
parang
them are
wala na.
really old. I mean, some people really dig up old issues just to cancel someone who's
Yeah.
current. But I really don't get it. Like, I can like someone's craft, and not like what he did 10 years ago. Alam mo
Exactly.
yun, people can change.
Exactly. Parang that really like removes the growth from it. Well, although syempre I feel like with some cases it's like these kunwari tweets saying or that are racist or are misogynist or something. Those
Right.
might be embedded na in your personality na eh. So even if you don't
Right.
show it off right now, then you
Unless you
still have
reflect
it
it, diba?
unknowingly to the public. Pero syempre, that's a very tricky road
Yeah,
because parang, yun nga, you're discounting growth and you're discounting how people can change and how they can have a different perspective at this point. So,
yeah.
I don't know, if I get famous, I'm probably gonna make my Twitter, um,
Delete
no,
all
I'm
your
gonna make
tweets
my
from
Twitter,
2020.
um, ano na lang, ipa-private ko na lang siya and then make a public account for the
Yeah,
future.
do that.
So everyone already knows my plan. They can now start taking some screenshots from 2012.
Oh my gosh, 2012.
Magandang ano yun, magandang YouTube video. Reading, cringing at my tweets from 10 years ago. That's a fun thing. I should probably do that one
I
of these.
will watch out for that.
Ayun, so parang ano pa bang magandang pag-usapan? I mean, let's aside from music, I mean, syempre, music is really a big aspect of your life.
Yeah,
What else keeps you going, especially in these days? I mean, your faith is a really big uh thing in your life, right?
for
I
sure,
mean,
yeah.
how do you parang keep that intact, especially na this world is full of distractions and this world is
Mm-hmm.
full of mga materialistic things, but I mean, even for me it's really hard to like still keep the faith even though it's not like the way we are taught in Catholic schools. It's like you have to go to church
Right.
every Sunday and all that. And parang especially at this time and as a young person, how do you like go go with that?
I honestly get why a lot of people aren't as active or aren't as in the faith. Lalo na people from Catholic schools nga. Because I came from a Catholic school, and I've always um I've always been in the community. Like, I've always served in church, and I've always seen my sisters and my parents serving as well. But I would say that being in a Catholic school, um there was a big tendency to take it for granted,
Yeah.
like, because it's required, alam mo yun,
Yeah.
parang we have to have first Friday mass, and we have to do this, and we have to do that. But then, coming out of it, I think what made me grow in my faith was the personal relationship talaga. And I feel like that's really what's important at the end of the day, because ako a lot of people ask me if I'm Christian,
Yeah.
because they're not used to Catholics being as vocal about the faith.
Yeah.
Yun. But I am Catholic, and I'm a proud Catholic. But yeah, I really it really helps me to know that there's someone bigger than everything. Alam mo
Yeah.
yun, bigger than what's going on now, bigger than what I think is going on. And it helps to hold on to that, and to okay, medyo okay, scripture based, but like, knowing that we're not of this world,
Yeah.
like, that this everything that's going on right now, this isn't the end goal. This isn't the whole picture. Alam mo yun,
Yeah.
na parang, I don't know, if you read the Bible, and if you have that personal relationship, you're gonna find out that we're really just called to love. Alam mo yun, na so ngayon, ang hirap niya gawin, honestly, kasi sa lahat ng nangyayari, di ba? How do you love the country? How do you love your leaders despite what's happening? How do you
How do
love the
you?
people around you? Di ba? Kasi it's hard, like, because your eyes are so open to all of these things that are going on. So it helps to have my faith,
Yeah.
to really just pray. I mean, it sounds so cliche, lalo na with people now being so aware of the issues, 'di ba? Pero ang laking tulong na I get to pray not just for myself, but also for the people around me, and the people who have control over these things. Kasi nag-ground din ako. Naalala
Yeah.
ko na hindi tungkol sa akin 'yun. Alam mo yun, na kahit
Yeah.
sobrang galit ako sa nangyayari or sobrang affected ako sa nangyayari, at the end of the day, it's not about me. So what else can I do about it but pray for our country, pray for our leaders, pray for the frontliners, diba? And people are gonna say na parang, okay, we don't need your prayers. Like, that's not gonna help. But it's what I can do. And honestly, it does help. So, and I'm not gonna force my faith onto everyone. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we're called to do. But that's what I can do right now. I mean, aside from my songwriting, there's really not much that we can do kasi.
Yeah.
Diba? So parang sino lang ba yung pwedeng gumawa ng mga bagay na hindi natin kaya? So yeah, like it helps now, especially to have someone bigger to hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really nice. I mean, yun na nga. I mean, especially in we were talking about hatred and all that. I feel like for me rin kasi parang it's really at the end of the day it's about love. It's about
Mm-hmm.
not even about for me personally. It's not really about prayer that much. It's more about acting on what Jesus act how Jesus acted na parang okay, I don't have to go to Sunday mass every week or
Right.
but if you're a loving person and if you treat people with kindness as Harry Styles says I mean you get what I mean na parang as long as you embody that WWJD, what would Jesus do? I feel like you're pretty much there. That's I mean um we all have our own ways of showing our faith. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
that's my way na parang, I just want to be a good person,
Yeah.
regardless if I feel this way or ganyan. And that's my way of showing my faith na, I have
Yeah.
that as a guide. And, prayer isn't always the, kasi parang, syempre, it's also a whole issue about, we've talked about this before on the podcast na it's an issue about, how people are educated about what faith should be,
Mm-hmm.
na it's just like some people like you just have to pray for it and you don't really have to take action because it's always
Oh,
like
yeah. Gets.
the parang the it's like faith and action is
Yes.
equal to what happens and you just don't pray na oh God I hope I pass this test but then you don't study for this test
Yeah.
malamang di ka talaga papasa pero
Yeah.
parang if you if you ask for the grace and you also study really hard, then of
Yeah.
course you will get that grace in some sense or another. 'Di ba?
Right.
Parang you have to realize that kind of
Yeah. Cause like,
the duality of what prayer should be, I guess.
yeah. Cause
Is it called
it's not.
duality or like I don't know what the correct term
I'm
should
not sure. but but it's true eh. Kasi you can't just keep praying for things and not do anything about it. Kumbaga, I remember like back in grade school or high school, may kwento sa amin na parang may nagdadasal na sana manalo siya sa loto.
yeah.
Tapos everyday siya magdadasal, everyday siya magmamass for it. And then nagalit siya. Parang, Lord, ba't hindi ako nananalo sa loto? Tapos yung sagot sa kanya, tumaya ka ba?
Yun na
Kasi
nga.
like it's not kumbaga God isn't a genie.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not just gonna magically appear and just okay, here you go. I'm gonna give you everything you need. Prayer, honestly, it's not for God. It's for us
Yeah,
mostly. Like it changes us. Alam
yeah,
mo yun, the communication with God, it doesn't add anything to him. He's already God. So it
yeah,
changes the way we see things. So if I pray for kunyari nag-away tayo cholo and I pray for you, it's not gonna make it's not gonna make the situation better
yeah,
instantly. It's gonna change how I see it. So if after I pray for you I realize like, oh, I could have had some fault in that,
yeah,
then I would change the way I look at it. So I think that's what people don't see, because admittedly a lot of people in the faith, um or before pa na parang iba yung way nila of showing people or telling people how to go about it.
yeah,
So I guess that turned off a lot of people. That
yeah. I'm
turned a lot of
sure.
people off.
Like I don't know
Yeah.
how Catholic children right now are handling it. Kasi tayo, we grew up medyo traditional pa, wala pang social media to
Right.
have all these ideas. But now that everything is so accessible, you can just TikTok stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know how they're dealing with it. Like, are the
Yeah.
kids who are growing up now in these Catholic schools still parang the way we were, na, or is there a sort of change na in the way they practice the faith? I don't know. We will find out
Mhm.
somehow. It's
I'm
a
not
question
sure.
Isa cannot answer either.
I cannot. I really can't.
Yeah, it's just an interesting query, I feel, na
Mhm.
parang how? How do you,
Yeah.
especially in this world right now?
Yeah. Communities help. Um, because I belong to a community, right?
Yeah,
I'm in the Light of Jesus family, so I attend the feast and I serve there. And it really helps. You know, being surrounded by people with the same faith. Alam mo yun, na you know that people actually pray for you and with you. You know that you can run to people when you are anxious about everything that's going on, which is what I've been going through, and it helps because they pull you back.
yeah,
Kumbaga kapag hindi na tama yung perspective ko on something, they can pull me back and say, "Hey, this is not how you're supposed to respond." Alam
yeah,
mo yun, without it being, they don't really force it on you. Kumbaga, uh what you said, what would Jesus do? So the way that you act, it can't be this is how I pray compared to this is how I treat the people around me.
yeah.
So yun,
That's what I really find ironic about a lot of people who are so showy about it. Na parang,
mm,
okay, are you really, are you really just like saying that, or are you living that?
right,
Right? It's
right,
like,
because faith
it's
and
like when
action go
it's
together.
like
Yeah.
when what's her face? It's like when never mind. Ayun, it's like when I'm gonna take that off. It's like when
Okay.
Gia Gunn said, "What you wanna do is not exactly what you're gonna do," right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
So
Kasi,
random. I put RuPaul's Drag Race into peace, but it's kind of like that.
yeah. Kasi you can, ewan ko, parang hindi naman lahat ng iniisip nating tama-tama. And
Mm-hmm.
hindi man lahat ng gusto nating gawin, yun yung tamang gawin. Kumbaga, like, you have to find the balance din eh. Na, okay, this is how I feel about this certain thing, and this is what I want to do about it, but I know better, so I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah,
So you really just have to, kumbaga, you also have to put in the work, really. If you don't know what to do, like just like in any other situation or in any other aspect, diba? Parang you read on it. You read about the topic or you research about the topic. And it's the same way with faith. Alam mo yun, hindi siya pwedeng basta salita ka lang ng salita or kilos ka lang ng kilos without knowing the basis of what you're doing,
yeah.
the basis of what you're saying. Yun.
So that was it for our devotional 30 minutes. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, I mean, it's really nice to talk about these things because it's not something a lot of young people talk about anymore, right?
Yeah.
Especially, yun na nga, as we mentioned, it's a different world than we grew up in. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
still glad that we had that education at the end of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But aside from that, I mean, anything else that, I mean, what do you enjoy? I mean, you told me before na you were really into K-pop and you're also into RuPaul's Drag Race and ano mga fun stuff naman yung aside from, the usual that people know about Issa that they do not really know about Issa.
Huh. I am into really okay. I like watching movies and series that make me think. So for the past few days or weeks or months, I've been watching Grey's Anatomy
Ooh.
because they released all 15 seasons, right?
Everything's
So
out on Netflix na?
yeah, 1 to 15.
Oh, kasi before, diba, it was like ano lang,
Parang
parang
11 lang ata
7
siya.
and
Ay,
11
7.
or something like that.
Yeah, like putol-putol.
Ang
Because
weird nun ah.
yeah, I watched it kasi nung college, just I stopped ng season 5. So when they put out all 15 seasons, I started from season 1 and I'm in season 7 now.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been watching
So,
those
gusto mo na ba
seasons.
maging doktor after all
Nope.
this?
Nope. I just like watching, but I don't think I can handle the pressure.
I
But
don't know if
yeah,
I can catch up with like 15 seasons of 40
I
40
don't know how
minutes
I did it.
each. Well, I don't know if you can go through 16 episodes of 1 hour 30 minutes for K-dramas, and I'm
Well,
pretty
yeah.
sure you can do Grey's Anatomy. But
Yes.
like from what I'm seeing, like how are their lives so dramatic as doctors?
I know. It makes me think nga ngayon eh. Parang, what are our doctors going through outside the hospital?
Do they get on
Diba?
planes together and like stuff happens? I'm not gonna spoil it, but I have already been spoiled.
Oh
Or
no!
um, I don't know. Do they randomly have a musical inside the hospital?
That's so weird to
I think
think
that was the
about.
only episode I've ever seen of Grey's Anatomy was the musical episode.
And then you didn't watch na.
Di kumanta din sila ng Chasing Cars, 'di ba? Kasi Chasing Cars yung tama ba?
I think so, yeah. If I remember correctly.
Isn't Chasing Cars one of the early like theme songs in the
Yeah.
show? And then they had like a musical rendition or something. It's
But
very
it's
interesting.
fun. It's fun to watch. And I don't know, even though I don't understand most of the terms, it's just really fun to watch. That and a lot of dystopian films, which is kind of weird because when I watch it, it reminds me of reality, which scares me a lot.
It's
But
crazy, no? Like,
yeah,
you know how we watched Hunger Games and we watched Harry Potter and
yes.
we read these books as well. And then you just see na, oh, this is what's happening outside.
Right? I watched the whole the trilogy, the Hunger Games trilogy, and also Maze Runner.
Yeah.
And okay, this might spoil some people, but one scene dun sa last part ng ano nga yung last, yung third sa Maze Runner. Basta yung last movie. Merong parang part
The
dun.
Scorch Trials. Joke. Pangalawa yata yun eh.
No, that's the second. Basta yung third. Merong scene dun na parang they were all outside wearing masks. Wearing face masks.
OMG.
And they were looking for a cure to a disease. So parang I was watching it and I was like, this is actually happening right now. And it's so scary.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but I still watched it.
Parang it reminds me rin of when I watched Contagion when it first came out in 2011. And, you know, we were just, these kinds of things like pandemics were just like an afterthought because the last
Yeah.
worldwide one was SARS in 2003, I would say.
Was it
2002 yata.
two?
And parang watching Contagion back then was like, you know, just fiction and like, you know, how it came from, spoiler alert again. I don't know if you've seen Contagion na.
Not yet.
Sige, never mind. Maybe you should watch it.
Okay.
But yeah, parang when I saw that and then this all happened, I was like, oh, it's just like the movie Contagion. And then they released Contagion on Netflix and all those
Oh
things.
my gosh. It's so scary. But
Yeah,
we still watch anyway.
yeah. I mean, that's how we cope
Yeah.
nowadays, you know, all the oppas and the pretty Korean girls and,
True.
you know, all the K-pop boys and girls. These are
Yes.
really nice. I mean, these are really nice things that, you know, people take for granted also. But I guess as we end this, any last message you want to say or any last like parting thought that you want to give as before we head to our last segment?
Well, I would just say to, just to choose to be kind all the time. We never really know what anyone else is going through or
Yes.
how we're coping. We cope differently. So they could seem really bubbly and really positive on social media, and you wouldn't know that they're going through anxiety or
Yeah.
anything else when they're alone. So yeah, just really choose to be kind and always check up on your friends, especially the ones who don't reach out.
Yeah.
Just always check up on them. And yeah, just, you know, we never know what's gonna happen, so make the most out of your time. And that doesn't mean like do everything productive that you could think of. just really take care of your relationships also, and yourself. Your mental
Yes,
health is
that's
also
true.
very important.
Take care of yourself. Go and buy so much Shopee to take care of your mental health. That's me.
Budol.
Joke. Budol, I'm the Budol Nation King. So that's like my coping mechanism. But that's true, that's true. Thank you for that. And now we reach our last segment, which is kind of related to what we were already talking about, which is our pop stop or our pop culture recommendations for the week. Since may sinabi na si Isa kanina, I'll let her say it after me. My recommendation for the week, I watched It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood on Netflix. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet. It's Tom Hanks' portrayal of Mr. Rogers, who's like a famous American children's TV host. And it's just like what we were talking about. It's really so pure and so wholesome. And it's about being kind and sharing that to the world. And it's just really moving. Mr. Rogers isn't a popular figure here in the Philippines. I never really heard of him until like last year yata or 2 years ago. But seeing that and the story that was portrayed was really nice. And yeah, just watch It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I feel like if you're a crier in movies, you would cry because it's that good. So I recommend It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And I will be watching the documentary about Mr. Rogers soon enough. It's called Would You Be My Friend naman. So that's like the real Mr. Rogers. And then Tom Hanks' version is in It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. So yeah, really good stuff. It made me like, um I came from a pretty rough night the night that I watched it, but like that put me into perspective about how you should treat people despite the feelings that you feel and how you should act upon it. And funnily enough, parang the day after I acted based on what I learned from the movie essentially. So, it's really nice to have wholesome media that's not like 365 days or something like that. Which I haven't seen either. But I heard it's pretty like 50 shades of gray. But
No.
ayun, ikaw Isa, any other recommendations aside from like Grey's Anatomy?
I just finished watching season 2 of The Umbrella Academy, which
Ooh,
I really
I've yet
love.
to see that.
You should. I really do have a big crush on Ben. I know
Everyone's
a lot
saying
of
that.
people. Yeah, but a lot of people are like saying that they have a crush on Five, but I've had a crush on Ben since season 1,
And he has
and
more
this season
exposure this
really.
time, right?
Yes, and I love it so much. You guys should watch it. I love it. I love it so much. I don't know. I'm into those kinds of things, like the whole mutant. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a term,
Yeah. Super powered
pero yung mga
people.
ganon. Yeah, because it's just so interesting to imagine what it would be like to have actual superpowers.
Oh my gosh, you should watch
And
My Hero Academia then. Have you
oh, I've
tried?
never heard of
You
that.
should. I mean,
Not
I've
yet.
said it before, again and again, but watch it on Netflix. It's an anime, My Hero
Okay,
Academia. Oh my gosh,
I
it's like
will watch it.
nonstop. Watch it right after we talk. Like, don't sleep.
Okay, I will. Oh my gosh. But
I
yeah,
swear to you. I started with one
sige,
Funko Pop, and then I just duplicated because I love the show that much since I started. Um,
okay, I will give that a try. But
yes,
yes. Oh,
I'm
and I
like,
have one more thing.
go.
Oh, sorry. I have one more suggestion. It's kind of a tita thing, but Unlocking Us by Brene Brown. It's a podcast. I listen to
Ooh,
it on Spotify. But basically she has guests over and then she talks about vulnerability and
yeah.
emotions and shame and comparative suffering and all of that, and it's just
Wow.
amazing. So yeah, I listen to that.
So did I live up to your podcast expectations? I hope I did.
Yes, you did.
It's always
For
like,
sure.
am I giving substantial enough episodes? Hopefully I am, but
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Don't worry.
but thank you, Isa, for being here. It was a pleasure. I mean, we always get to talk, but to dive deeper a bit into your music and get people to know you a little bit more. Where can they listen to your music and follow you on social media?
Yes, you guys can listen to my music on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon, YouTube Music. You guys can search for Issa Rodriguez. And of course, if you want to see my music videos or anything, you guys can go to youtube.com/Issa Rodriguez Music or facebook.com/Issa Rodriguez Music and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Issa Rodriguez with three C's.
Yes. And go listen to her latest single called Wag. And
Yes.
yun. It's a really great song. Go listen to it. You will feel it for sure. And go listen to all her other music. It's amazing. I swear. I'm not kidding just because she's here.
Thank
I
you.
always tell her this. And yun, thank you, Isa, for being here. Of course, our episodes can be found on all streaming platforms. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you stream your podcasts. We have so many episodes that you can listen to if you don't have time. So go tell a friend about it and enjoy pop culture and enjoy our conversations or my conversations with artists as well, just like Isa, who is here with us. You can go follow us on social media. That's at Popcorn with Cholo, at Popcorn W Cholo on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And that is it for our show. Also, thank you to Radyo Katipunan for always airing our episodes and for making all things happen for the show as well. So thank you so much to everyone. That has been our episode with Isa Rodriguez. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.